Hey, what's going on, Ken?
Hey guys.
Hey, hey.
Hey, we're the monkeys. Today is a special day for me for two reasons. It is my anniversary date of my first day in basic training. And that was, let's see, 46 years ago. It's been a
Okay.
minute. It's been a minute. And it's also my youngest daughter's birthday. She's a groundhog's baby.
Well, groundhog saw a shadow, so we're in for
Yeah.
and I don't know about down there in San Antonio, but I know up here in DFW in Dallas, Fort Worth, they're losing their mind and closed everything down for the last 4 days. Some
They're
areas are
still, they're
partly
still closed today? Things are still closed?
yes.
Yeah.
And I think some of the school districts already called it. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we're closed tomorrow because it's sleeting or raining out right now, and it's supposed to be in the 20s all through the night and in the morning. So
Man.
doing a delay, they're like, yeah, let's just go ahead and shut that down.
So your daughter's been off all week?
Absolutely.
She's doing homework at home?
No. She hasn't been to school to get anything. I think the last time they went to school was Monday.
Oh.
So
Maybe that means another extra week of school, right?
that's what I said. I was like, I think they might take out their spring break.
Okay. Well, it's warm up enough that we have power finally.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a couple spikes that happen here or whatever, but I invested in a ups system for my own command center in my house. So
How much did you pay for that?
maybe $200 Amazon.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it hasn't had a need to run on battery power yet, but it's just my computer and the monitors
Yeah.
and router and stuff. So that stuff will work. I got a generator for refrigerators and stuff like that. So
Interesting. How much is your generator?
so that cost me like 1,600.
Uh-huh.
And it's a solar generator, so there's no emissions. Um, like I said, I'll plug it up when there's electricity to power it up or keep it charged, and then I have solar panels if I need to put it out in the elements. But there's no emissions or anything like that. So let's just sit in the house, run both refrigerators. I have a gas stove, so I don't ever worry about that when the power goes out. So, but we've had to use both before, and they work. The generator, if we just let it running our freezer, our deep freezer, and the refrigerator, I can get about 3.5 days out of it, continuous running.
Nice.
You muted.
So yeah, so I was going to throw something out there too. So I will probably have to jump off a little bit early tonight as well. So yeah, I promised my wife I'd do something and I didn't realize what day it was. So sorry.
What time you got to get off?
Well, she's kind of getting ready right now. So
Like right now.
well, I have a few minutes, but not a whole lot. So
Okay. Okay. Well, appreciate you popping in for a few. Anything you want to touch on before you depart?
no, I did my GRC course, started studying for AZ 104. I spend all day in Azure now doing cloud stuff, so it's been pretty fun.
Right.
So
how's the internship going?
it's going really well. Yeah, and I like this company because they don't bring on SkillBridge unless there's a position like for that person to go into. So I mean, we'll see. It just really depends on if they you know, if they offer me, you know, about what I'm thinking is fair, that's probably going to drive the ship.
All right. Well, it's looking positive then.
Yeah, so far so good.
Congrats. That's what I'd like to hear, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good company. They're pretty they've kind of told me to chill a little bit.
Oh, is that right? Pushing too hard?
Well, yeah. I think what my boss there had said, he's like, yeah, you know, it's not like the military. You don't have to work all like nights and weekends and whatever. It's like, yeah, you know, it's fair, but I obsess about stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I start working on something and I don't get it done, it drives me nuts. So
Yeah, that was gonna be my next thing. And I was like, oh, well, you still have that. I'm not really out in the military yet. So do it. It'll take a while for it to slowly die down. Like, well, I can actually sit and wait for this to happen. I don't need to have it done right now and yesterday, where everything's important, and you can only control little left and right limits. Whereas in the military, I can go over to somebody like, hey, we're gonna sit down and take care of this right now. We're gonna stay here till it's done. Can't really do that in the civilian sector.
yeah,
I've tried.
that's fair.
That's not your lane. I was, you know what? You're right. It's not, but it will make this a whole lot smoother if we could. So
That's fair. That's fair. But
it's that you've been institutionalized for X amount of years, and that's how you've been trained. You got to untrain it now.
That's
yeah,
right.
no doubt.
That's what I talk about sometimes is, you know, we're so used to those habits and that perspective that we will recreate it in the new life, even though we want to have more of a work-life balance or harmony or whatever you want to call it. We'll recreate exactly what we know unless we're really intentional.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
Don, we have 2 new people tonight.
I saw one.
I see too.
Is Jennifer new?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, Juan.
Hi.
Since I wasn't here last time, Matt, I'm going to have you do the
Yep, I got
media
it.
spotlight.
I will. I already got it marked down. So when we get there,
Okay.
got 2 more minutes.
Yep. Hey, good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Really good to see Dion with all that ice and crud up there in Dallas. Man.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit before you just jumped on there.
I heard you. Yeah, it's funny on the NBC Nightly News last night and tonight, they keep showing a picture of a young lady on her hands and knees walking across the street, pushing her briefcase and stuff across it. And they never say where that is. I'm assuming it's Dallas because they're kind of talking Dallas, but you guys
Yeah. I've seen that same one too. I was like, where is that? And because it's on the Dallas Fort Worth news channel, I figured it's somewhere there, but they never say where. So
yeah. Initially, I thought it was Austin because they had it pretty bad too. Yeah. Look at Aladino, man. He's outside in the snow just rubbing it in.
This is over here, the shivering in Kansas. Fellow Texans are joining us.
Yeah, we don't like it. I just saw we're going to be 75 by next Tuesday, so that'll be nice. All right, well, we are at 7 o'clock. Great to have you all. So here's the question. The last couple of days, with the 31st of January, I think, was National Hot Chocolate Day. So do you like milk chocolate, hot chocolate, dark chocolate, hot chocolate? Do you put marshmallows in it? What do you guys think?
All of the above.
All of the above. I like that.
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah.
I get those.
Go ahead.
Oh, I get those little German like truffle chocolates and like melt those in hot milk.
Ooh,
It's the best. Ever since Germany, that's the only way to do it. You get them in
making it really
Aldi's.
rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that put Bailey's in my hot chocolate?
No. Or a little bourbon, just
I
a
do with
little.
coffee.
Yep.
A little bit of Bailey in my coffee.
Yep. Here's the question. Do you do it before noon?
I don't
It's
divulge
Sunday.
company secrets.
No comments.
Okay, then
Maybe once I
yesterday,
retire.
yeah, yesterday was National Dark Chocolate Day. So do you like it dark, plain? You know, just dark chocolate? Do you like it with caramel? You like it with sea salt on it? All the above? None of the above?
All of the above.
All of the above. I like Jennifer's thinking. Yeah. How many people are chocoholics? Oh, not as many as I thought. Okay, well, about half. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, great. Well, great to have you all back. It's exciting to be back. You know, last time I can't believe it was just 2 weeks ago. I was doing that LinkedIn Mill City. I was networking with a bunch of folks, so that was good. Appreciate you letting me do that. And Matt was here, and so I'm still trying to catch up on everything that happened 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to have Matt start us off with the previous spotlight. You know, and I don't remember what I don't know what he's going to say, but you know, we do this because we always want to focus back on what we talked about last time, right? This is about accountability. This is about learning. But I want you to always be thinking, just because you may not be in the spotlight or have the issue that was brought forward, you can still learn from that. So Matt, previous spotlight.
So last time we talked about with Tim, and we were talking about he was having issues with his sergeant major because the sergeant major wanted like a full report on what he was doing when he did his skill bridge. And so our discussion was on that. So Tim, do you remember that discussion? Tim Bennett? Paging Tim Bennett. I know I saw him come in here. Tim, are you here?
He's there. He was there. He's not there now.
He's not there now.
He may
So
or
the
may follow.
conversation refresh was, so I'll fill in and be Tim for a minute.
Okay.
Was Tim was having trouble because his chain of he had been out for months with a surgery, and
Mhm.
now he wanted to do a skill bridge, and his chain of command was having issue at brigade level, not company level, because how do we account for you?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of us had thoughts on that, like, what in the world is going on? You didn't care before. So
When you're
I think
on-
what we
You're
I
on
think what we
convalescent, you're on convalescent, right? You're on skill bridge, you're on skill bridge. And it's
and then Aladino, I think, left with probably some of the most diplomatic ways of approaching it is you have to talk to your command and get them to see what comes of this. You may have to bend some, maybe you've got to call them in the morning so they know you're okay.
yeah.
You have nothing, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose on a skill bridge if you do it right.
yeah. I mean, if you want to, I guess if you just report back to your unit and say everything's okay every day, a text message or something. Full reports.
His unit didn't care. His unit was good. It was his
Command team.
brigade command team that really had the issue, which is kind of odd. But I mean, at that point, your first sergeant could call and check on you if they are good with it. Just say, hey, you alive? Yep, good. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, let me ask you a question. When you're doing skill bridge, do you have to take your terminal leave and your permissive TD, house hunting TDY during your skill bridge?
So no. So they all have to be like mutually exclusive. They all just have to fall within that last 180 days of service.
Okay.
So for me, I mean, I started just about at that 180 mark. And then I have, you know, that house hunting, or not house hunting, but job hunting, permissive TDY, and then terminal. So that's it. That gets me all the way to the end.
Kelly's saying the same thing. I talked to a gentleman last week whose commander briefed him that he had to take his terminal and his permissive house hunting during the skill bridge time and no other time. And that's the way the base skill bridge people briefed it. I'm like, I don't think that's
And that's
right.
the skill bridge is 180 days.
Say
Some
again?
people have theirs 180 days.
So if you have a 180-day skill bridge, then I guess if you have to do it all in 180 days, then you have to, I
Yeah.
guess. Is that what I'm saying, Andrea?
Somehow
Yeah.
they're down to count. But you can only start skill bridge 180 days. And then if they have terminal leave, then that, they can probably get off of the skill bridge to finish their terminal leave or just sell it.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I was
so-
thinking sell it back, but okay, that's a good distinguisher right there. You got to do it all within 180 days, and he was talking about a 6-month skill bridge.
So I will throw one more extra curveball out there. It was a little bit weird, but honestly, because my replacement came like a month and a half before my 180-day mark, it's like after he was good to go, like I started leave shortly thereafter. So I had like leave that ended just before my 180, and then I took skill bridge. So I had a ton of leave saved up.
Yeah, because that leave, you used it as regular leave. I mean,
Right.
I had like 120 days racked up. I used 59 days for terminal leave, and then everything else I just said was regular leave. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So you really got to look back at your situation, how long your skill bridge is, how much leave you have, all of that stuff. Okay. That's good to know. All right. Well, good. Was there anything else, Matt, from last spotlight?
No, I thought it was a very excellent discussion. I'm sorry. And Tim Bennett is back now, I saw.
Oh, there he is, Tim. Hey, we were just talking previous spotlight about the your conversation with the sergeant major and the brigade admin about full report during your skill bridge. How's that working?
So I actually it's not I go by Frey. But so it's basically come down to as of right now, the sergeant major and the colonel do not want to approve the ECP because of some risk associated with the ETP, which they're not willing to say what those risks are. However, then supposedly that's not set in stone yet. And so, yeah, I'm just waiting, and I won't do anything for a while. One of the things that I'm hoping to kind of push things in my direction is the AMC terminal has already booked me commercial flights from here back to the States. And that I'm hoping that those tickets are non-refundable and non-cancelable. And that just kind of forces their hand to say, well, I guess we have to approve the ETP. So there's nothing quite like saying shove it in a very nice and polite way. So
that's right. There you go. All right. Appreciate the report. All right. Well, let's jump into education moment. So let me share my screen. What I want to highlight, there we go, is last week Sigma Forces sponsored Lori Norris of the Lessons Learned for Vets podcast to do a resume workshop. And I listened to it, and it was fantabulous. And that's why I wanted to highlight here. I'm going to put this in the chat as soon as we're done here. I've also posted it on our LinkedIn Military Transition Roundtable open page on Tuesday, and I also posted it in Slack. So I want you guys to see it in several different ways, make sure we get to you. But I really encourage you, if you're still working on your resume, and it's never really done, right? She does a great job. And I wanted to touch on just 2 things to wet your whistle, since we are past bar time, right? In the summary, she said, don't tell them what you were, tell them where you're going, right? Because we think of the word summary, we think of this has to be everything that we've ever done, kind of a whole glowing, we just build ourselves up to be this big, huge thing. And what she's really talking about is you're showing your qualification for the job you want that you're applying for, right? Because you're tailoring every resume. So the summary should talk about how you qualify for that job you're applying for, years experience, degrees, certifications, skill sets, because usually under the summary is the skill set that's part of the summary. And it should talk about that I qualify for everything and get them to read the next section. It's like the newspaper, right? Above the fold, just to use Matt's, public affairs perspective. You're always trying to get, like the LinkedIn, the banner headline, you want to get them to read the about section, and then you get them to read the experience. With the summary, you want them to read the experience section. But they're not going to if you can't tell them right up front that you qualify. So that was her perspective. And I really like that. And I've been reading a lot about it, and I think it captures the right perspective. Then she said for the experience, she's with me. Most experience sections are nothing more than a list of responsibilities, a list of kind of almost like position description. You can almost take your position description and write it and right off the resume. And it's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about the results, the impacts, the problem solving, what makes you unique. And she said, don't do star, do RATS. Flip it, right? RATS, results, action, task, situation. Previous group asked, why put results first? Because I think when we start talking about situation, task, we start getting too wordy. And to make a maximum 2-line bullet, it's really hard. And then we squeeze the results in. And she said the results should be the big piece. And then the action, those are the two biggest pieces. Task and RATS, task and situation can be a little bit smaller. So she says, flip it around. And she uses in the presentation 3 times, I think she walks through bullets and how she deconstructed them and reconstructed them into a nice bullet. I thought she did a really good job with it. So that's all I really want to say. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. I'm going to put this in the chat, and we'll go from there. Any questions at all?
No, but I would just add that I've sat through some of her stuff, and I worked with her on my resume before too, and she's on point. She's good.
She is good. Yep. She has her own resume business. She's been doing this now for 18 years, I think, and helping military for 18 years, doing resumes for 18 years. She also, like for sure, me and others that I know, so frustrated with some of the services out there writing resumes because they're the exact same. They look the exact same on everyone, and it's nothing more than position descriptions. And I always put it this way. There was 65 other base civil engineers when I was the base civil engineer at Malmstrom Air Force Base. We all had almost the exact same position description. So all we did was pretty much list our responsibilities. We all looked alike, but every one of us faced very unique challenges. The age of the infrastructure, the projects going on, the wing commander's priorities, the weather, everything was different. So we really should have been 66 distinct individuals on our resumes. So, no other questions? All right, wins and challenges. Dion, would you like to run with wins and challenges? I should have asked you prior.
Sure, I can do that, not a problem.
Okay, over to you.
All right, this week's wins and challenges, again, I'll go through how it's positioned on my screen here. And first up is Michael. You're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, wins and challenges were the speaker this week. I couldn't find the mute and unmute button. No. So I had my PA this week, which is your assessment of last year, this year. And we developed one of my goals, which is where I'm going, where I'm trying to get to, and some things we're going to do, try to get me there within the company, which was really good because my leadership's addressing it. I've got a few contacts, the challenges. The contacts I have on LinkedIn, they're slowly working. They haven't forgot me, but it's not working as fast as I'd like, but they haven't forgot me. So that's my wins and challenges.
All right, next one in the list is Kelly.
So my wins were achieving my my last 2 weeks goal, which were I completed the pre-work and I met with my financial planner, and we set up some scheduling of working on my financial vision statement and just making sure I'm prepared for, like, the next 80 years. And then the second is I participated, but I prepared for the Dream Mastermind group. I had an individual session with Don this week. For me, it was phenomenal. And then the challenges, just still remaining patient. It's taken a while to kind of figure out my routine. As I'm starting my 4th week of my job, I understand it's going to take a while, learning the job and things like that. So whether it be my morning routine, during work, after work, I want to revert back to like what I did in the Army, and I'm just trying to remain patient as my kind of, how I operate every day just kind of settles out.
All right, appreciate it. Aladino.
Hey, greetings, everybody. As far as the challenges goes, continuing on with my recovery from my meniscus procedure that I got done a couple of weeks ago. So that has hampered me and kept me pretty stable and immobile at the house, limited to what the things that I could do. And that goes with work, activities, and challenges with the family. On the flip side, though, that has freed up some of my time and slowed the pace for me. So with that pace slow down, I was able to sign up and actually attend and focus on the Dream Mastermind that we're doing with Dawn. Really good, really effective. I'm able to sit down and just venture about my thoughts and ideas and future aspiration. So that has been definitely a win for me.
All right. All right, next we have Anne.
Hi, everyone. So my wins are, I've been taking my quiz for the PMI ACP. I only got to 79%, but I still got to work on it. And I got paid, retired pay, as of yesterday, first time. And I joined this Wounded Warrior Expo, and they talk about exercise and how to sleep, how to breathe in and out of your nose instead of your mouth. So since then, I've been exercising 5 times this week. Challenges is my VA disability still sitting there, same place. And I'm still working on my deers on TRICARE. Be married, it just seems to take forever. And then today, my husband said that he put his ex-wife on as his dependent instead of me, but it had my kids on there. So we're just going through that.
All right.
There was, if I may, there was a good thing in the MOA weekly newsletter today about deers and staying up on top of it. Because just like what you just said, Ann, they make mistakes, things change, you wonder why. But periodically it's good to go back and check, especially after retirement. You think that you're set, right? Kids are out of the house, you're married. Amazing how things change, and it makes a big difference.
Yes, and HRC does not have my DD-214 because of the IPS-A change that they had. So, and then, yeah, it's just one thing after another. But I'll just wait, whatever has to happen, I'll try to be on top of it.
There you go.
All right, next we have, is it Frey?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Let's see, lots of wins, I think. So my wife or my partner and I, we were able to liquidate a bunch of assets, and we're gonna go meet with a finance guy later this week. No, next week, one day, I think, to figure out where we're gonna invest all that at. I heard back from the Rheinmetall folks. They're not going to be able to facilitate a CSP right now just because they're not really sure about their timeline for when their facility clearance is going to get approved. And that was okay because they connected me with the FSO for Bath Ironworks, and they have a lot of a lot of like security management positions that are available. Maine Health, they're super excited to bring me on. I got the email from them yesterday morning that their legal team is all set to go. Now they're just figuring out where I'll be during my CSP. So I'm thinking that's gonna be the route I want to go, mostly just because of location. Bath Ironworks is about 45 minutes to an hour from where we're going to be living, and I really don't want to have that much of a commute. Not that 45 minutes is terrible. 20 to 30 minutes is a lot better than 45 minutes to an hour. I had a Clarifix procedure done yesterday where they basically float a balloon full of liquid nitrogen in my nose. So I'm healing up from that. Yeah, just going really well. I think the only challenge I'm really having at this point is dealing with the only reason I'm at work is because I have to be there. Like there's no job, there's no position, there's nothing for me. I show up every day and I'm just there. I read books, I look at LinkedIn, I talk to my partner, I talk to my friends, I do nothing for work. And so that's it. That's my only challenge is combating boredom while I'm at work. And thankfully I have a lot of comics and actual books to read. So I'm going through, I'm reading Brene Brown's Daring Greatly right now. So thanks.
It's supposed to be a good book.
All right, there's a lot going on there. It's good. Hopefully, like I said, well, you got positive feedback on the CSP, so that's good. So hopefully that gets sorted out. I'd be interested between you and Ann to know who your financial planners or what company or whatever you guys are going with. So for myself, everything is going fine. So it's February. Consequently, my anniversary, 19 years, is on Sunday. So we are going to Tennessee. That's my trip for this month. Finally making my way to Nashville. Been trying to get there since forever, but every time we went, there was a problem. So knock on wood that we fly out of DFW tomorrow. Aside from that, so I made a couple of new connections. The individuals that I wanted to speak to the last time, the three that I said was part of my challenge, to speak to those three veterans and see what they're doing, what their story is or whatever. Haven't been able to get in reach with those guys because we all work behind classified skiffs and SAPFs and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to link up or find time where we can actually use either LinkedIn or Messenger or whatever. So I wasn't able to talk to those guys, but I did meet three actually new individuals that they're looking for some questions, answers, or some comments. And I shot them, Don and Matt, I shot them your name to link up with you about this group as well. I don't know if any of them reached out yet, but we'll see. But other than that, as far as challenges go, again, I gave up, which might be the wrong words. Like the Air Force is not doing their part, so I'm not chasing it because it's out of my reach. For certain certifications I have to have, like they're not approving. I'm a contractor, not an actual government worker, but in my contract it says, yes, you will pay for things. And so there's that fight, which is out of my hands. So I'm like, I'll just sit there and wait. This is an ongoing fight to have these certifications done since October. So it is what it is. Like we'll get to it when we get to it. Hopefully, I have until next year before my current expires. So, or I can't keep this job. So hopefully they've sorted it out by next year.
So the contract says they have to pay for it as part of the contract.
It's in the contract says we will have these and renewals and stuff. The company or the air. So to be on this contract, you have to have these certifications and they have to get renewed. But
Is it-
the
is it
Air
the-
Force
is it
is
the
our
Air-
sponsor for these certifications.
Is it the contractor who pays or the Air Force pays?
The contractor can't pay for it.
They cannot.
It has to be a DoD sponsor, which is the Air Force, and that's in black and white. So I'm like, that's cut and dry to me, but I'm not getting that. That's above me. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
Just make sure you get everything documented.
oh yeah, like everybody else. Look, I got a year out. I need to make sure we're good to go. So I don't want to wait till the last minute and then they mess around. Hey, look, you don't have these and they expired. So we need to cut you loose. I'm not trying to get in that boat. But other than that, everything's good. I'm still taking me and the wife are still doing the Latin dance classes or whatever.
All right.
I still don't have rhythm after 19 years of being with her. My hips don't move like they're supposed to in Latin dances, but I have a good time, break a little sweat. But other than that, that's all I have. I see that we have possibly 3 new people.
I think you still got Nathan and
Okay.
possibly Jeremy before we go to the 2 new folks.
Okay. All right. So Nathan, you're next on the screen that I have here. Wins and challenges.
So these past few weeks, I had my annual review with my company. Apparently, I did not fill out the form correctly, so they were not too pleased with me. So that went a bit roughly. I'm trying to get through with the Navy, trying to talk to them about the debt they're trying to stick on me. I had to contact my old command. I've called them. I've tried emailing them. Still waiting for a response, but I'm going to try to keep up that fight. Renewed my lease here in Arizona for the next year while waiting for the housing market to stop being crazy and interest rates come back down. Other than that, I'm trying to get some extra hours at work, just in case I am stuck with this debt, that I can try to at least make some payments on it. So, yeah, taking it one day at a time.
All right. Yeah, can't argue with that. Hopefully come away with some good news on that.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, you're next in the shoot for wins and challenges.
So my win was I met with an initial VSO and went over my plan before I go to file claims, and looks like I'm on track with a good plan to have my documentation correct. And then I registered. It's a win and a challenge. I registered for this thing called Agile for Patriots that kicks off in March, and I'm waiting for the interview. It goes March, April, and then 2 weeks in May. So I'm waiting for the interview session at the end of the month to see if I was selected. And I start 4 block February 14th.
You'll love 4 block. That's great.
All right. Awesome.
got
Like I
2 new-
said, I've heard good things about 4 block. I haven't done any of that stuff myself, but I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about it.
I'll tell you, if anybody's coming up on that opportunity and you got an opportunity to go to 4 block, it's fantastic. You got 9 or 10 weeks. You got companies coming in. They talk to you all about their hiring process. They always have a subject like resume or LinkedIn or elevator pitch or something. They talk about that, but then they talk about them and how they hire, and you'll find out which companies, they stack them first to last, and they'll look at the top, or they look at all of them. You really get the inside scoop if you're looking for a job with them. And once you're
And
in
you
that
get a
class,
coach.
man, they look at you. Go ahead, Ann. Go ahead, Ann.
They also give you a coach. That's what I was saying. A
You'll
coach.
second that? Okay. Yeah. All right, Ann, we got 2 new folks. We got, it disappeared on my screen. We got Jennifer and we got Juan. Both.
Juan.
So Juan, why don't you give us an intro on yourself, just a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, what you want to do, kind of where you're at in the process of transition.
All right. First, quick mic check. Can everybody hear me? All right, good to go. So my name is Juan Valles. I'm currently in Augusta, Georgia right now. I just retired, actually just hit the first was my first day as a civilian here. So I've been kind of doing this transition process here for a couple months now. Mostly trying to do it on my own, which has been mostly unsuccessful. So now I've, starting to try to get some contacts to get better resources and get better tools to try to kind of make this a smoother ride into the civilian world. Originally from Nebraska, we plan on staying here in the Augusta area for now, but we're open to possibly moving. Just kind of depends on how things, come together here as the next month or two goes along. What is my things I've got going on? So I'm going through the VA process right now still. That has been extremely frustrating because I started the process at the 6-month mark like they recommend, and if you get it done before the 90, they're supposed to have everything finalized by the day you get out. That did not happen because the contractor who was working it for the VA did not they didn't get all the information submitted on time, even though I had completed all the appointments. So I had to redo the general physical, which is like the 8-hour big one, right? So I had to completely redo that one yesterday. And it just, that whole thing's just been frustrating, but I guess that's kind of my introduction to the whole VA and how it's probably going to go for the rest of my life. And then job hunting, that's been a big mess too, but now I feel like I'm getting on track now. Reached out to Matt originally. He's put me in touch with a lot of good resources. As you mentioned, Don, I watched Lori's cast the other day on resumes, and I was making a lot of mistakes. So a lot of mine was very general, just kind of job descriptions and just kind of basically trying to fill out a resume to be able to shotgun to every single employer, hoping that someone would bite on it. And, and that was one of her big things, just like, instead of doing something like that, just if you send out 5 focused resumes, focus each resume on the exact job you want, you're going to get a lot more hits on something like that as doing a broad one. So as far as what I've done this week that's been productive and positive, today I got my 3rd one out. The bad part about doing it that way is it takes a long time. So you got to go through the job description, and you got to kind of just craft each one, especially if they're quite different in the actual jobs that you're applying for. But I did that. I got my 3rd job resume out there today, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep working on those resumes and keep crafting them to the jobs specifically I'm going for.
Excellent. Service you were in?
Oh, sorry, I was in the Air Force.
Air Force, and
yep.
How many years?
24 and a half.
What was your AFSC?
A 1N Intel.
Intel. And what do you want to do?
That's been part of the problem, because again, when I first started, I'm really open. There's a lot of things I'm interested in. I could do a lot of different things that would probably make me happy. I'm fine staying in the intelligence world, but I'm also fine going into more of the civilian corporate world, doing project management, program management, things like that. The thing I don't have a PMP. I know some folks were talking about that earlier. That's something I've kind of looked into. I've also got a little bit of an IT background. I've retrained a few times, so but I don't have any certifications. So I'm starting to kind of study up on some of the certifications that for my background, I think won't be too hard to get, at least a few of the introductory ones. So I'm starting to kind of throw some of those things together to open up some more doors and go from there.
Do the jobs you're looking at need that?
Ultimately, yes, I guess, because program management for some of the cyber jobs, especially here, because Augusta's kind of they're trying to focus on the cyber side of Intel here. So I would need to get some of those certifications if I want to land a program management job doing cyber. But like I said, I'm comfortable doing a lot of other things too. So I'm right now, my focus is to land a job, because I was told by millions of people before I got out, you're going to have no problem getting a job. It's going to be easy. And it has not been. It has not been easy. So my focus now is land a job, and then go from there on exactly kind of what the long-term outcome for a career goes.
Okay, now that you're in here, I'm looking forward to talking to you. I take you deeper into the what next piece. I know Matt does some stuff when he gets into LinkedIn. I go a little bit deeper, so I look forward to trying to get you focused in. So good talking to you. Welcome. And Jennifer,
Right.
give us an intro on yourself again. Service, years, what you've been doing, AFS or whatever, and what you want to do.
Okay, so my situation's a little unique. My ties to the military are actually through my husband. He's the veteran. He was in the Air Force.
Okay.
As far as what those acronyms mean, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll ask him.
It's just what job he did.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know
AFS,
that.
AFS or MOS, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
I'm
start
gonna
spitting that
ask him.
stuff out like crazy, don't we?
But like Dion, my anniversary's coming up. We've been married for, well, we've been together for 5 years.
All right.
So happy anniversary, Dion.
What are you looking to do as you in the next job you want to get?
So I'm currently a special education teacher, and like a lot of teachers, I'm looking to transition out to a career that has more advancement opportunities. And like Juan, I'm kind of going the project coordinator route because those are the management sides of my job are things that I truly genuinely enjoy. And I love the organization. I love a deadline. I'm a weirdo. I love it. And so, yeah, and I feel your pain on like everything that you said, because I feel like throughout this process, I constantly put the cart before the horse, and I did probably everything wrong you could do and had to like go back and redo everything time and time again. I have probably like 200 versions of my resume at this point. So I'm also trying to work to help people not make the mistakes that I did and save them a lot of time. So Juan, definitely make yourself a master resume that you can pull from, because it will save you a lot of time. I'm making mine now, and I've been on this job hunt for 6 months. I wish I had done it at the beginning. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pain and suffering I can save people and throughout this transition.
That will help a lot. Kelly just sent you a note on chat about a connection, so don't miss that.
That's great. Thank
That's
you.
good. Well, welcome to the group. We welcome both of you guys. And at the end, we're going to ask you if we can send you an application to join us officially. So be thinking about that. All right, we're in the spotlight time. And this is where we bring forward a question, something you're working on. You're looking for some advice. Maybe you got a resistance somewhere, just not moving where you want to be. Doesn't have to be a burning question. Doesn't have to be, really frustrating. It's just something you're working on. You want to try to leverage the knowledge and experience of this group. Anybody got something that they want to bring? I challenge you to always be thinking about that before you come in. Anybody? The other way we can do this is kind of a lean coffee. We'll just pick a couple topics to talk about.
Yeah, so I don't have anything, but as far as topics go, I'd be interested in if you bring something up to the table to go there. I think for me, I don't have any challenges with the direction that I'm going right now.
Okay. Anybody got any advice on the VA disability? Several people talked about the frustration of the timing of VA disability.
I don't have advice, but I'm wondering how often should we book them? Because just like Juan, when I did my BDD, it's supposed to be when you retire, you get your ratings, but they're saying, oh, the PACT Act, so that's why mine's being delayed, probably. But how often should we check the VA? I know not every day, but
what is
those
your
that were waiting before, how long do you guys wait?
What's your VSO saying?
My VSO is the one that messed up a lot of my stuff, remember?
Okay.
So I don't.
So you don't want to rely on
She don't
her.
respond, so I don't talk to her.
Yeah. Anybody got any advice? Anybody who's gone through it?
Fire your VSO.
Yeah.
So Don, for me, I'm a veteran at the end of February, so I sent my VSO an email. He said my BDD's on track. I should get my ratings on 1 March. I guess he could see a folder or something in their portal, and he checks it, you know, probably within the same month that you retire. And he said, you know, the normal stuff looks like it's in there when everyone's on track for the rating. I've thought about checking the portal, but I've resisted. I'm not going, because I know people check it like every day, and I don't want to go that crazy route. So so I do think, like, I don't want to say interviewing, but searching around for a VSO that has a good reputation, you know, might be helpful.
Yeah. I don't know anybody in this group who's just recently been doing it. I think everybody's still on the early side. I can tell you, Ann, my supplemental, this is the third, I submitted last April for supplemental. This is the third time I've gone back with items. I had all my appointments in September, October for the third time, this third request. And I was told on the 1st of November, it was ready to be assigned to a rater. I had another meeting in January 12th, so 45 days, and it's still waiting to be assigned to a rater. So I was hoping to get the rating before 31 January so I could apply the exclusion to my property taxes, but that ain't gonna happen. Didn't happen. So I asked the VSO, I said, so what's going on? And they talked about the PACT Act. I saw a thing in MOA newsletter today that 25,000 extra people have applied for VA benefits because of the PACT Act over last year. So that is a big one. So it sounds like they are behind. I would think no less than every 2 weeks. Just a query, because they can, like you said, they can look in the system and see where where your package is going through. They can't tell what's happening in the VA, but they can tell, you know, when the rater gets assigned, when it gets done. You know,
It's been in the same place since September.
For how long?
Since September.
September. And you guys are supposed to have priority, so I don't know if you could ask the VSO if there's a way to query. In fact, you could call some other VSOs and ask for advice.
Yeah.
Hold
on. The last one I talked to through the TVC, they said, you know, just wait, don't change the VSO. And it's going through the PACT, you know, that's priority. So that was my last response I got from them.
Did you include PACT Act stuff?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Matt, what do you think about
PACT Act it, you know?
What do you think about connecting her to Jane Fairchild?
Issues and, you know, stuff.
Sorry, Ann, I was talking over you. I apologize.
I don't know.
Connect to who?
Jane Fairchild, isn't it?
Jane Babcock.
Babcock, thank you.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I talked to her before.
I would follow up with her. She knows her stuff.
Yeah, if you could send her a note. If you're already connected with her, Ann, just send her a note and say, hey, I just got a question, looking for some advice. How often should I bug her? Because this is taking, that's what seems to be excessive time. Especially for a BDD where they promise you at retirement.
I totally agree with you on that one, Don. And I hate to chime in because mine's went very smoothly and I did all of that stuff. I guess I might be the needle in the haystack maybe or whatever, because I know I did mine. I did all my appointments in July, and at the end of July they were waiting on a rating. So at that point it was like, oh, you'll get a rating before you get out. So once it was assigned to somebody for a rating, I didn't check it again until the day I was officially retired. And then like 5 days after I retired is when I received my percentage and paycheck and all that other stuff for there or whatnot. But until it gets assigned to an individual, I would, at a minimum, at least once a week, if not call them. Or maybe it's because my VSO was in Arizona and not too many people use Arizona. I don't know, but that's just who it was assigned to me because I was at the time stationed in Arizona. But I did the paperwork and all that good stuff, scheduled all my appointments, and it went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it's kind of like now with the DD Form 214. Some services are right on time, some are way behind, like the Navy. Not to call anybody out.
Especially since you're supposed to, when you go to your final out, and I can only speak for the Army, I don't know how the Navy do things. When you go to your final out appointment, you sign it right there and they give you that official and then they file a copy. And then if I'm not mistaken, you have one to clear certain areas, but again, I can only speak for the Army.
Yep. So I hope that helps you. And that was a good question. How often should you harass them? But,
and then if we got time for another one, I got another question.
Go ahead.
So I've been talking to a couple of different transitioning service members and veterans or whatever. So I was curious as to what you guys thought about certifications versus degrees versus experience. Like, how do you measure or how do you weigh one over the other when looking at different jobs or whatnot? Because some jobs that I look at, I was like, I'd rather have somebody with experience than somebody that just went to school, because learning how to do it and actually been doing this thing is a little different. Whereas some things in IT, for example, they want you to have this shalloo of certifications, but then I look at, okay, you got all these certifications, but what have you actually done? You know, so I was just curious what you guys' take on certification.
Anybody got some input?
Experience.
From
Perspective?
the
Frank, go ahead.
I've talked to a lot of people in the security field, physical security specifically, and at least when it comes to physical security, a credential or two doesn't hurt. I've not seen very many people in the physical security field that have anything really. Bachelor's is kind of like the cap. It's mostly about experience and where that experience comes from and what the individual was able to produce with that experience. Because it's from the many people I've talked to, is with security, cool, you have a degree in, electronic security systems, you have a PhD in whatever. However, what have you done with it? Have you actually gone out and done an inspection? Have you conducted like an actual risk assessment with a stakeholder and a facility manager? Because if a person hasn't done those things, then your degree is not going to help the organization that you're trying to provide security for.
Yep. Good input. Anybody else?
Deanne, just from my perspective, I know you're talking about security. I work at a healthcare IT company. I'm surrounded by engineers, architects, and techie people. And I think it really comes down to experience and then like the baseline of certifications, because that really gets you in the door. And then speaking from my foxhole, which is project management, a lot of companies or job applications will put recommended for a PMP or Lean Six Sigma, and not required, because then they would have to, make sure they pay you for that. And it really, if you take a, like the PMI Project Management Institute view of using those types of words and terms on your resume, and equate your experience to that, I think it's definitely helpful. I've only met one other person, who transitioning service member who has a PMP, right? And they are working in like a contractor job over in Saudi right now. So that's just a little bit of advice from the project management foxhole.
Yeah. Having worked a number of contract efforts with Booz Allen for 9 years, I saw repeatedly the statements, a bachelor's with 10 years experience or a master's in 5. And I wouldn't focus on the 10 or the 5, but it's the difference, right? They're basically equating a master's for 5 years experience. But like somebody said, it's not a master's in 2, it's not a master's in 0. It's a master's in 5, depending on the job, right? And I was talking running like the Air Force Emergency Management Program or running different things like that, big contract support at senior level. So this is guys that were typically, we were looking for master, senior master, so E7, E8, 04, 05 type. So looking for those senior guys. So that just gives you a feel for the value of a master's versus experience. But I didn't have it for cert. I never saw years experience to a cert. So I'm out on that one. Anybody else?
I can jump. Yeah, if I could jump into that as well, I think it's heavily dependent on the career field that you're trying to pursue. I think the IT department and some cyber areas are extremely forgiving when it comes to that, essentially because a lot of the certifications are a carbon copy of what you'll be doing as far as the job entails. Personally, I'm in the electronics maintenance world or electronic engineering world, and then a lot of the positions that I see of that, there are strict requirements that you need when it comes to the degree that you require, because a degree will allow you to get additional certifications or licensing on top of that when paired with that experience. So I think it all depends on the career field that you're trying to venture into. One of the reasons why it's very important for us to somewhat have an idea where we're trying to go to, because once we get to the destination, a certification may be sufficient for you to get that job or apply for that position. But if it's a requirement for a degree, then you have to think about all the time that you have spent trying to get to that particular point. So that's my take on it.
And that's a good one, because I've heard, like, I'll pick Dave Ramsey out of Ramsey Solutions, right? Financial Peace University. He hires lots of IT folks. And he says, I don't even care about the degree. He says, by the time they get through a 3 or 4 or 5 year degree, the technology is past it. It's not even worth it. It's all about the certification. But you go to engineering, totally different, right? Totally different. Yeah, so we're going to have to move on. Does that help, Leon? Okay. So that, just to give you a feel, Jennifer and Juan, that's kind of what we do in the meat of the program. It's all about leveraging the knowledge and experience of the group to help you think through different issues. Can be really burning hot, frustrating, can be just small things. And sometimes the small things can be really frustrating. So that's a big part of our program. So now we're into accountability. What can we hold you accountable specifically for the next 2 weeks to get done? Right? Nothing general, we're looking for specifics. So we are going to come to you, Juan and Ms. Jennifer, at the end. I want to ask about the application and what we can hold you accountable for. So I'm going to start at the top of my screen. I'm going to start at the bottom. Michael. Is he still there? Going once, going twice. Aladino. Nope, Michael's off. Michael's off mute. You're talking, but we can't hear you. You're not on mute, though.
Still with me?
Hold on, Aladino.
All right.
Hey, Mike, see if you can fix it. Can't. No, sorry. The only thing I can say is jump off, come back on. But Aladino, over to you. Accountability.
Yeah, as far as the accountability for me goes, as I mentioned earlier, because I'm pretty stable at home right now, I'll continue to be focusing on that dream mastermind that we're doing on Tuesdays. So I'll be focusing on that and reviewing some of the notes that we went through, and then preparing for the next session.
Okay, you got the recording from this week and the assignment?
I did.
Perfect. Yeah, we missed you this week. Kelly and I had a great conversation, but it would have been richer with some other people.
Not bad.
All right, Dion, accountability.
So for me, like I said, this weekend's the anniversary, so I'm going to be off radar, having fun, be like completely into that or whatever in Nashville, and watch all the craziness that happened there. Second, next week or the week after, my daughter has a visit to Texas Women's College, where she'll be attending in the fall or whatever. So take that trip or whatever. And then the third thing specifically for me is, since I have some downtime now that I have a battle rhythm at work, I want to at least do 15 of my CEUs for my Sec Plus and those IT certifications, so I don't lose it.
Excellent. All right, coming to you, Antran.
Okay, for me, I will continue working on the PMI ACP quizzes until they take away my access in March. And I start my financial fundamental class for the certified financial planner. Start that next week. And also working on my exercise. I have this Garmin thing that they gave us. So I'm learning how to use that, measure my sleep,
Is that a,
exercise, all other stuff. It's a
is that a
Google
Fitbit?
big something smart. It's small, kind of look like my Fitbit. It was like
Okay.
I got two now. So
Yeah, I
I'm
love
working
my
on that.
Fitbit.
Learning how to use this thing.
There you go. Okay. All right, I'm going to come to Jeremy.
Hello. Yeah. So I got to finish my elevator speech for my February 14th. 4 block. It's an 11-week program, so that happens on the 14th.
Okay.
And then I also have to get a sleep study next week, which I got to go sleep. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with that. I got to go get hooked up somewhere in San Antonio and spend the night there for, I guess, sleep apnea. So I figured those are my challenges and my goals.
Okay, perfect, perfect. If you would like to stay for a second, afterwards, I've been talking to somebody who's really good on pitch statements, pitching the work.
Absolutely.
And I asked her a question last week on elevator pitch. And
Okay.
I'll pass that. If anybody wants to stay and listen to that, you guys are more than welcome. Yeah. Nathan, to you.
So the big thing is definitely keep my eyes out for whenever the Navy decides they want to respond to me. That way I could try to work out the step thing hopefully before my first payment's due on the 6th. We'll see what happens there.
Did you
Outside
get
of
a chance
that,
to?
what's up, sorry?
Did you get a chance to submit things to fight it, or?
I called NFAS about it to see what was going on, and they told me to call my old command to fight it because they're the ones who submitted it.
Okay, I don't know if they were looking for documents or anything that you could provide them to.
I haven't heard anything. I've been trying just to talk to somebody. I finally got to talk to somebody, and they gave me an email since I've been gone for over 2 years. So I emailed that email and just waiting for a response.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to keep fighting that if I need to. I'm going to document all the times I've been reaching out to them, and hopefully I can talk to NFAS to push that payment date back since I'm trying to talk to the boat, or if I'm just going to have to start paying and hope I can just get that money back.
You might think about a lawyer. In 2 years, that's incredible to come back after 2 years.
It's over 2 years. I left the boat in 2019.
Yeah, 3 years.
I'm thinking a congressman.
I already messaged my senator. I haven't heard back.
Okay, good for you.
I
I touch base. If you already touched
Nathan?
base with Congressman, I would touch base with a lawyer. Matt?
was going to say, you probably need to call him sometimes.
Mhm.
As the
Okay.
congressman.
Call the congressman. All right, I'll see if I can find a number.
Yeah. Anything else, Nathan? That's a big one.
Just keep tackling it at work. We're gonna have a busy month this month, so maybe try to get some OT. I'll definitely let you and Matt know if I'm gonna be missing. I'm sorry for being late today. One of the coworkers got sick, so I was covering. I got off at 6 and got here as quick as I could.
You're good. You're doing good. All right. Thanks. Kelly.
Okay, I want to finish the mastermind group strong and then come out of it with like a personal timeline to revisit the 10 questions and make a plan with that. And then the second thing is I got 5 points. I just want to double check some final transition stuff, disenroll from post notifications, DFAS, DNS login, just a couple things like that. So that's my goal for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. And Frey.
Yeah, I mean, as far as anything towards my separation, all the stuff that's kind of really 50 to 200 meters is kind of checked, like it's all either scheduled or kind of nothing I can do about it at this point.
Okay.
Other than just trust the process. So just personal growth, and yeah, that's it.
What are you gonna do for personal growth? Anything specific?
Stuff that I'm not gonna get into on here.
Okay. Okay, good enough. All right, I think we are down to Juan and Jennifer. I'm gonna do Jennifer first. What can we hold you accountable for?
So I need to step back up to applying for jobs. I'd kind of taken a break after speaking with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Art Garcia, but kind of showed me some things that I needed to revamp on my resume and how to tailor my elevator speech. So I wanted to kind of perfect those things. I'm also very new to interviewing because as a special education teacher, all of my interviews have been multiple schools trying to sell themselves to me. I've never really had to answer that many questions in an interview before. So I want to keep perfecting my interview answers, perfect my elevator speech as well, and continue building my reach on LinkedIn.
Okay, there's several of us in here and in our program that can talk interview, particularly a guy named Keith Cassant. Matt can connect you up with him. He really loves to help people, and we got great perspective on interview. There's also a group called Candor. I think it's Candorful. I think they do that. Is that right? Yep. Kelly's giving thumbs up. And I think you can get 1 or 2 free. I'm not sure how that works exactly. 3 free. So they walk through it with you. So that would definitely be a good option.
Okay.
If you want to stay on the elevator pitch too, we could talk. I think
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, and Juan.
I think a couple of my top priorities is to push this VA process as much as I can here in the next 2 weeks, because I do feel like I'm close to the finish line, but I don't know, maybe it's false hope that I think I can help them get to the finish line, but I'm gonna try to push it a little bit harder with the local contractor and with the VA to finalize everything. And then as far as the job hunt is concerned, like I said, I just kind of finally seen the light on how to write a good resume, because I'd never had to do it before. And now that I have that, I think my big goal is just to keep a focused approach on what jobs I'm going after, but get the resumes out there on these jobs, because I already put out a ton of resumes, but like I said, they weren't good. So now I'll step it back and just go focused resumes. But if in the next few weeks, hopefully I can get another 10 to 15 really good resumes out there for jobs that I'm qualified and interested for.
Okay. Yeah, I always put myself out there. When I was with Booz Allen, I hired over 200 people. I interviewed over 2,000, reviewed resume and stuff. So if I can help you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Shoot me one for a review. You want to sit down and talk about it, how to construct bullets, you can do that. Definitely, I'm at your word. I'm at your service. There's a good word. I was gonna say mercy, but that didn't sound right. So Juan and Jennifer, can we send you applications to join us? One's good. Okay, 2 thumbs up. We will do that. And webinars coming up. We've got one on the 22nd of February. We're going to be talking about burnout. Almost everybody I talk to as they come out of the service, they're like, I'm burnt out. So we found a mental health counselor who works with military on burnout and that subject. Some people may know her. It's Tricia Houghton. You may have heard the name on LinkedIn. And she runs a group on Tuesday night. A little similar to this, but not totally. But I've been developing a relationship with her as we talk through that. But it's about burnout, what it is, how to avoid it, how to get out of it, some key things. So it's going to be really good. So Matt is finishing up the advertisement, so we'll get that out to everybody. And I think that's all we have, unless you're in San Antonio. This Sunday, we've got a poker and billiards tournament, raising money for MTR. That's going to be fun. And Matt, did I miss anything? Nope. Did I miss anything from anybody else? All right. Great to see you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for investing in yourself and investing in each other. That's what this is about. You know, people on the outside in corporate, they pay hundreds, if not $1,000 to be a part of a group like this per month. Keep wanting to bring that value to you. This is what they pay on the outside to have a group like this. And you're getting it as part of your transition for free. Complimentary, let's say that word. So appreciate y'all being here. You guys have a good one. Take care. If anybody wants to stay and talk elevator pitch, we can.
Thanks, Don.
You bet. Have a good one.
Don, Matt, quick question before I
Have a
go.
good day.
Should I be trying to contact a senator or a member of the House?
I don't know if he's still there or not. Yep, he is. You're on mute, my friend. You're on mute.
Congress, you can contact Congress, your congressman. Because I used to do those, what you call it? Pay inquiries and congressionals. So you can contact the congressman from your state.
Okay. Just any of them, or
Yeah.
should I go for one specifically?
One for your district. They
One
won't
that's in your
contact you outside
district.
the district.
Yeah, from your district, your state.
Okay, so that'd be for the House of Representatives then?
Yeah.
I'll reach out and see if I can get in contact with them.
I would,
You're trying to contact your unit, even if it's soldiers that you've known, they might know somebody that's there. So, just continue working that way. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Don, I'm hanging. I'm gonna say goodbye, sir. I gotta
Okay.
call a daughter.
I'll see you in 10 minutes.